Good morning. I don't know, I think I'm about to purchase the Tiger 212 Whitman. I'm getting $10 from surveys. I complete surveys and I get Google Play credit. It was good. It was quiet.
Before the new iPhones came out, what they needed to do was say, hey, listen, there's a problem with this battery. If we do this update, it's going to slow down your phone. You can try to replace the battery or buy the new iPhone. Consumers have absolutely no idea, and that is deceptive, unfair business practices.
It absolutely is. Do they have a case?
They definitely do. Not only under this case of fraud, but really there's a breach of contract. Apple promised consumers a phone that works, not a phone that later slows down. And so really, they can sue for damages for not being able to use their phone for the times when apps didn't work because their phone was too slow. So there's definitely a case there.
And you've never heard any other phone manufacturer get sued for this. I mean, and we all know when you get a new iPhone or the new iPhone model comes out that our phones start to act slowly. The question is, can there be a settlement reached? Because there are a lot of iPhone users out there that almost felt pressured and forced to buy new iPhones. And this isn't, cheap. This is hundreds of dollars. Now $1,000 people are spending on these phones.
That's exactly why this is coming to the forefront. It becomes an issue. Will there be class action? Will this be across the country?
Will there be a class action suit?
It's difficult to say because there's a number of factors depending on different people's interests. Even the two suits that we see, they're very similar, but they're suing under a little bit different theories. But the same problem, the same harm is consistent. I don't have a fully functioning iPhone. That's what people are saying.
But that's not fair, and that's the bottom line. So then, do you then issue everybody a new battery? Because a lot of people can't afford to buy these new iPhones. A lot of people still have Generation 5 iPhones. If you've got a 6, you're even having problems, and that was only a couple years ago. So what can Apple do in order to satisfy its customers who have not yet sued before they actually take?
Well, Apple's going to do everything that they can to get out of this. So remember when you're looking at your phone and you have that big agreement? It's like 700 pages long. They're going to cite probably something in there where you have accepted the updates, you have consented to the updates, and there's no case. So first off, they're probably going to do everything they can in court to make sure that there's no lawsuit.
Right.
Barring that, they're probably going to try to settle out of court, possibly with getting everyone a new battery, because otherwise it could cost them potentially millions of dollars.
Yeah, no, they need to make the battery life in order to actually support our phones, and they should be operating the same way that they did on day one. I want to move on to another major legal story that we're watching here, and news of the day. A new act of defiance against the Trump administration. California Governor Jerry Brown granting pardons over the weekend to 2 illegal immigrants facing deportation for felonies committed in the U.S. Now, the men could still be deported, but with the felony convictions removed, they're going to be allowed to petition immigration judges to reopen their cases. Jesse, I believe if you do the crime, you serve the time. But I guess if you're an illegal immigrant and you do a violent crime here in the United States, you may stay, according to this governor.
So let's break it down. Okay, so these were individuals who came to this country. They lost their residency status when they broke the law, whether that was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or back in 1995 or 2003. They lost that status. When this new law came about, and when this whole transition came to go after illegal immigrants who broke the law, they came under that net. What's happening now is, under this pardon, if they get those pardons, they are not necessarily the reason for why they were rounded up now for deportation. That reason is cut away. That doesn't, as you said, doesn't necessarily mean that they won't be deported, but it's an avenue for them to say, hey, the reason for why you rounded us up, it's not there anymore. And that's a reason why they might not be deported. However, the question is this fair? Because you have people who broke the law, whether it's a violent offense, whether it's a minor offense, whether it's a felony or misdemeanor. And in California, they enacted legislation that dropped a lot of felonies to misdemeanors, and they might be able to stay in the country.
You know, one of these guys, came to America as a child, and that brings up the Dreamers Act, because a lot of people who came here as children, many would argue, should be allowed to stay because they came here as children. It wasn't by choice. But should they be treated any differently because they were brought in as children, and then later as adults commit these crimes? Should they be treated any differently?
Well, there's a lot of factors to consider here. I mean, as you said, they did do the time. They were convicted of crimes and they served time in jail. And these pardons are not given out just easily. You have to be arrest-free for 10 years at least. One of these crimes was committed over 20 years ago. You have to show some form of rehabilitation. And these individuals were escaping persecution in their home countries and now have built a family here. They have young children here. And so that to tear them away from the home that they've only known.
Yeah, I mean, but one of these criminals was in fact